And welcome to the finale of Dota Caliber. We have a ton of matches to get through today as the fields are narrowing down. We will take a quick recap of the previous day before we get started in our matches. Starting down at the bottom half of our tournament, the Aghanim Conference. We saw Windranger defeat Pudge in our first of the high seed matches. Both of these heroes got a first round bye due to their popularity, so we could fit 100 people in the tournament. Anti-Mage defeated Shadow Fiend. Necrophos had a close victory over Legion Commander. Axe took down Silencer. Juggernaut managed to get a victory over the surprise entrant of the Skeleton King. Rubik countered Magnus like he always does. Sniper, incredibly, went 2-0 against Spectre, who normally counters Sniper. And on top of that, I don't believe Sniper got hit a single time in those two matches. A double perfect victory for Sniper, the only one we have seen, leaving the lowest seed in this conference of Vengeful Spirit having to go up against Sniper again. Venge not only beating Lifestealer in the previous round, but one of the few in the Aghanim Conference who actually had to qualify here, taking down a Warlock in the first round before moving on to Lifestealer. And then we jump back over to the Day3 Conference. Lion picked up a win against Ursa. Ogre Magi had a victory over Drow Ranger, despite Drow's incredible precision and technique. Sometimes a big swing is all you need to win. Earthshaker took down Nature's Prophet. Witch Doctor took down Spirit Breaker. Lena took down Queen of Pain. And then to deny us the sister versus sister match everyone wants to see, we get an anime rematch as Invoker will go against Lena. Following up the final match of the Day3 Conference, we'll see Phantom Assassin take on Morphling. Morphling, who had to beat both Abaddon and Bristleback to make it here. We don't like looking at Morphling. He's not that nice to look at. Jumping up to the Nemesis Conference. Sorry, he's a little small. There we go. Jumping up to the Nemesis Conference, we have Elder Titan, who has to take on Bane. Bane has been an incredible showing both times. It is very difficult to find anyone here who can take down Bane, but Elder Titan managed to take down the #1 seed in this division. So if anyone can take down Bane, it may just be Elder Titan. After that, we will see the dominant Shadow Fiend go up against Mars. Mars with an incredible performance against Tidehunter. An 8-second victory over the Kraken, followed up by another incredible punish. Mars is showing more than any other competitor in the tournament the spatial awareness. Ring out both time because he punished your positioning, as Mars does. We then move on to the other two matches here on this side, as Night Stalker will have to take on Marcy. Night Stalker, great performance in both of his matches, but Marcy's already taken down some beefy strength heroes with Underlord. Night Stalker may finally meet his match, and then two fan favorites will have to go up against each other as Dark Willow and Snapfire go against it. Only one of them can move on, and no matter who loses, will be upset. And swinging back to the Crownfall Conference, the last division here, Meepo has come out of nowhere as a massive favorite to win the tournament after last week's performance against Naga Siren. very first week, Meepo took out Dazzle in a very strong showing, but we weren't particularly sure if it was Meepo being that good or Dazzle being that bad. The next week against Naga, Siren absolutely showed it. Naga had a very close match against Puck and then got dumpstered by Meepo. So unless Puck, Naga, and Dazzle are all bad, Meepo is looking very dominant. Nyx had a very close match against Skywrath Mage. We will have to see if he can take down Meepo. But you know, that single target burst damage does not sit well against Meepo. So if anyone's going to counter Meepo, it could be the Nyx here. Dawnbreaker took down Clockwork, who had a great match against Enchantress, but sometimes getting in close isn't what you need to do, and that battery assault did not get through Starbreaker, letting Dawnbreaker advance and will go up against Death Prophet here, who very barely survived against Faceless Void. That match could go either way. Slardar is going up against Razor. Razor, absolutely hated in this tournament for his disgustingly boring match against Pugna, only slightly gaining some respect back after actually trying to defeat the cheater Terrorblade. Slardar, though, has put on a strong performance, taken down Beastmaster and Void Spirit, and currently Slardar sits as the only Slytherin left in the tournament. It's their last shot for victory, so all hope lies on Slardar. And we have a battle of the Keenfolk after Tinker managed to take down Doom in the second round. He has to go up against an even scarier threat, that being the Zesty Gyrocopter, who managed to kiss Bloodseeker on the mouth and almost through the second round against Kunga after he missed his kiss. Let's see if these two Keenfolk will fight to the death or just kiss and make up. That is our field for the day, as we are going to be starting off our rounds in the Aghanim Conference, where we have Anti-Mage versus Windranger. Now, this is a matchup that could really go either way. I think it's going to depend on a lot of if Focus Fire is managed to be reflected on Windranger. Windranger does not really have the longevity in here to take down an Anti-Mage. But as long as she's able to maintain her mana and maintain spatial control, it should go her way. Let's get into our first match of the day.
Now the noble wolves carve their souls into their swords.
In the Dark Woods here, this is very much home turf for the Windranger. Home field advantage matters so much in these contests. Nice spin kick. Windranger's keeping the momentum early on. Anti-Mage has got to play defensive here, unable to get the offense in. Wind running around the Anti-Mage, finding an opening to punish, getting a couple hits off, but the damage isn't quite there. If you're these little chip hits, you can rely on them to finish the game, but it's not going to swing the tide in your favor. And Anti-Mage has one hit from death. And there goes that hit. First round to Windranger. These very small chip hits are not what Anti-Mage really needs to regain his momentum. That's what you do when you need to finish off the round, not win it. Or finish off the round, not swing it back in your favor. Couple hits on Windranger, but it's basically no damage. That's the bigger kind of swings we need to see out of Anti-Mage to maintain control. He does have a super meter in his favor, but the health and momentum seems to be sliding into Windranger as she punishes those throws, but he punishes right back. Wind runs out of the way. Anti-Mage is getting some offense in. Now, Wind Ranger's down to about the last third of the HP. 1 or 2 big hits. Anti-Mage coming out here with the Mana Void. Is this going to be enough to knock down Wind Ranger? Not quite. 1 more hit from death. Anti-Mage can't lose his momentum now. He ties it up. He ties it up. We're going 1 round left as Wind Ranger has 2 super meters against Anti-Mage's 1. We could get 2 focus fires up here. Overhead swing by Anti-Mage, breaking the guard of Wind Ranger. Absolutely punished. Wind Ranger was going for that power shot, but Anti-Mage blinked in before she could get any offense in. Anti-Mage in control. Wind Ranger almost in control again. They're tied up on HP. Anyone could be winning this. 1 or 2 big hits from either of them. Anti-Mage has the momentum. Wind Ranger's going for the punish. 1 more big swing on either of them is enough. Anti-Mage with the punish. He blocks low and swings high, knocking Wind Ranger out of the tournament. Very close game by both of these competitors.
Wasn't as hard as I thought.
I like my drink. Anti-Mage moves on. Who will we have fighting Anti-Mage? Either Axe or Necrophos. We know this is going to be tricky for Anti-Mage regardless. Axe not too reliant on the mana with those counter helix spins, and Necrophos definitely able to go into Ghost Shroud, but generally is not going to have the long sustain of damage to get through the mana burn of Anti-Mage. So if you're Anti-Mage, you're definitely watching this match closely, and you're probably hoping for a Necrophos victory. And if you're an Anti-Mage hater, you're probably hoping for the Axe victory. Let's see who comes out on top.
When souls collide, chaos erupts. Well, guess I gotta clobber you.
This match is taking place in the 7 Hells. This is a bit of a neutral ground for these two, although it doesn't really look that it's definitely an imposing location. Axe managing to control some of the space with these headbutts and axe swings, but Necrophos has these massive shots with the scythe. He can cover so much of the screen, but once Axe is getting control, it seems like Necro's not really able to maintain any momentum.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
And that's what we see with some of these characters. It's about momentum and it's about spatial control. Necro has some big swings with his axe, but against someone like Axe, or he has a lot of big swings with his scythe. But Axe is staying up very close. Necrophos going for the Reaper Scythe here. Reaper Scythe connects, but Axe was at too high of an HP to effectively get the execution. No bonus regen for you. Although Necro is throwing out these death pulses, looking for a bonus. Battle Rage is active as Axe is trying to push as much damage as he can while he's this low. Damage boost is going to waste. He's 1 hit from death, and Necro picks up round 2. Necro absolutely learning from round 1, able to punish those headbutts. So much more in that round. Let's see if he continues to learn. Axe, Culling Blade. Dodging the instant death pulse by Necrophos into a Culling Blade is a crazy move. Axe taking out a third of Necro's HP instantly. Necro's down to almost the last third HP. A couple more big swings from Axe, a couple more big swings from Necro. Necro's regained control. Axe is the one at low HP, not Necrophos. They're evened up. It could go either way. 1 or 2 more big hits. Headbutt, knee. Dodges the scythe, dodges the axe, and hits the scythe. That last second sidestep by Necro secures him the round. You gotta maintain your composure in those very close moments, and Necro was able to see the opening, the sidestep, punish, giving him the victory. Necrophos will take on his greatest opponent yet when we get to the quarterfinals against Anti-Mage. Next up, two favorites. Two of the very popular heroes in their role, generally for their for different reasons, I am trying to say. Juggernaut being popular very much due to his simplicity, and Rubik being popular very much due to his complexity with spell steal. Both of which are fun. But we will have to see. Maybe Omni Slash gets stolen by Rubik. Rubik, one of the several spellcasters who are still in the tournament, all of which have been seeing very good success. Could Juggernaut, after taking down the OTK, be the one to take down the first spellcaster of the tournament? Here we are in the open plains for this match.
The winds fan the flames of the warriors' fighting spirits.
I can't run away.
Battle 1. Fight!
Juggernaut with a quick early punish as Rubik is trying to get as much momentum as possible with all these stolen weaponries. Juggernaut, Rubik's down to a third. He needs to regain this momentum. He has so much ground to catch up on. He's pushing damage as much as he can, but Jug still just cleanly cuts down Rubik, losing only about a third of his HP overall. These Blade Dance crits are absolutely going in the favor of Jug. Rubik's got to be a bit salty about that RNG, but look at that. So much damage instantly coming out from Rubik, but he gets stunned by Juggernaut. The Skull Basher's equipped. Second round knockout. Juggernaut's looking real good here.
Show respect for the fallen who fought.
Rubik countered Magnus, but once that Blade Fury and Blade Dance crits come out, nothing a support can do but get cut down by the core. Juggernaut moves on. As we get our final round here, who will face Juggernaut in the quarterfinals? The hero who's had to work their ass off to make it here, going into their third round of the tournament. Vengeful Spirit will have to take on Sniper, who's still pretty fresh, only having one round under his belt. And not only that, he has 0 damage under his belt. So even if Vengeful Spirit loses here, a single hit on Sniper will be enough to do better than Spectre did. No pressure on you, Venge, but the world is in your hands. You can't let Sniper win the tournament. He doesn't even have a gun.
In a cursed castle hall, warriors
Sniper using the bow staff, so he has the longest range here in the game, and Vengeful Spirit using the ring.
Battle 1. Fight!
Sniper maintaining control here off the bat. Aggressive playstyle. Sniper takes damage for the first time in the tournament. Underneath those bow staffs, Vengeful Spirit goes. She's playing cautious, waiting for these openings. The very punishable positioning on Sniper. These magic missile hits. Sniper managing to cover so much of the screen with his damage, down to a third HP. This is anyone's match right now. One or two more big hits and either of them are dead. Skateboarding off of the Sniper into a magic missile. Venge takes a round off Sniper.
Victory goes to the last one.
From damageless to a round loss that quickly. This is the big area control into it. Oh, he missed the assassinate. He's still getting a lot of damage off. Look at that. Venge is almost in the yellow health area already. Sniper hasn't taken a single hit. He was going easy round one. This was the dominant performance we saw with Sniper last match in the tournament. A perfect round, the third one of Sniper's time here. Sniper keeps pushing damage. Not another perfect round. Venge is getting that damage boost here, trying to push as much damage against Sniper as possible, but Sniper's taking aim. They both have a damage boost. Sniper's on death's door. Venge is going for the comeback here. After the perfect round, Sniper falls to Vengeful Spirit.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
What an upset after that first round by each of them. Vengeful Spirit will have to take on Juggernaut in the quarterfinals, thankfully taking down Sniper. But congratulations to Sniper. 3 perfect rounds out of in this tournament. That is the most anyone has ever had. Here the field is set up for the quarterfinals next round, where Venge will take on Juggernaut. Necrophos will take on Anti-Mage. This is the quarter. No, this isn't even the quarterfinal. Wait, no. This would be the quarterfinals, because then, oh my goodness, there's still so much more. This isn't even the quarterfinals. This is the semifinals of the division. Okay, I'm getting confused about my own tournament placements. We're gonna slide on over to the Dire Tide Conference. As we will have Lion taking on Ogre Magi. We saw very much in Ogre's last match. He was very high damage and very high range. We really needed Drow Ranger to be dodging absolutely everything that was thrown at her. And no matter how much she dodged, it only took a couple big hits from Ogre to even win those matches. And we're going to have to see that from Lion. We're going to have to see Lion finesse a little bit here, which may not be Lion's strong suit. Lion was using nunchucks in the previous battle, so he's very close range against the zone controlling Ogre Magi. My matchup analysis favors Ogre Magi for this one as we journey to the 7 hells again.
When souls collide, chaos erupts. Battle 1.
This is going to be a game of dodging. Lion quickly gets his damage out against Ogre Magi. Here's those big swings and these giant arcing curves by Ogre. Very difficult to dodge, but Lion's managing to close some of the gap with his movement. Ogre sidestepping Lion, each one looking to punish the other. Both of them are getting pretty low, almost even on HP. Ogre has the edge. Now they're even. One more big swing from Ogre and Lion's done. Lion needs to push as much damage as he can, but he takes the L in the round. 1-0 Ogre Magi.
Last one standing.
See, it's all about punishing here. Neither of them want to make these mistakes. Ogre managing to get some chip damage on Lion, but blocks the counter. There's the stun coming out from Lion. Earth Spike only a little bit of damage against the Ogre Magi. The absolute strength of this intelligence hero is nothing to scoff at. Launching Lion in the air. Lion's down to next to nothing. One more hit and Lion's done from the tournament. He's got to push as much damage as he can. This poke comes out, but he is done. How does anyone take on Ogre Magi? Ogre Magi will advance. We will see who takes on Ogre in the conference semifinals. Witch Doctor or Earthshaker. Earthshaker and Nature's Prophet had a very, very close set of 3, but we still have to give credit. Despite being eliminated, Nature's Prophet did have the quickest round of the tournament. I believe he had a 6-second victory over Earthshaker. Despite losing the best of 3, he had the quickest win. So even if you're eliminated, at least you set a record so far. We'll see if that stands. Maybe Witch Doctor gets a 5-second victory over the Earthshaker. Let's see that match commence.
A history of conflict repeats itself at this old sea keep.
This fight will be a
They will be fighting up here in the Witcher Tower.
So, you desire to fight?
Earthshaker rocking 2 clubs here. Witch Doctor with the bow staff again. Both of these heroes have long range to their advantage. Earthshaker, though, keeping up the positioning. But Witch Doctor just pushing damage. Punished, though, by Earthshaker. Some of these big side swings just do so much damage. Earthshaker and Witch Doctor. Oh, Witch Doctor's down to a 3rd HP. They're both in the yellow. 1 or 2 more big hits is enough to knock them out, but the damage boost from Earthshaker, Enchant Totem, swings, catching Witch Doctor midair for the victory. Beautiful combo. Earthshaker managing to try to keep the momentum here, blocking these long shots by Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor's going for the damage boost on Death Ward. Gets instantly punished by Earthshaker. This damage boost isn't it. You're taking too much damage yourself. You're getting none of the offense, and Earthshaker cleans up. That was a mistake. You got absolutely punished for that greed. Damage boost into punish? I mean, if you're gonna increase your offense while taking more damage, you want to push some. You want to push some damage when you're vulnerable in that damage boost state. You don't want to take more damage. Earthshaker absolutely destroys Witch Doctor there, and the Dire Tide conference is getting filled with the beefy boys. As we continue along in this conference, we are seeing no more beefy boys, but we are seeing 2 mages go against each other. Anime rematch between Lena and Invoker. Invoker just destroyed Crystal Maiden in the first round, and Lena had a close match against Queen of Pain. So if we're just basing it off of performances in the previous round, Invoker is absolutely the favorite of these 2 to win. Now, I wouldn't count out either of these competitors. Both of their fighting styles have been seeing success, but we did just see a Magus lose. Can 2 Maguses lose? We will have to see. as we get a battle out by the pirate ship.
It's more chaos than customers.
I can't run away.
Well, Invoker and Lena.
Battle 1. Fight.
Lena going for these massive swings. So much range on that Dragon Slave, punishing Invoker. Oh my goodness, Invoker's just getting dumpstered in the mid lane. No one has ever seen this in a pub before. Bad Invokers get exposed, you know. Lena keeping the defense up, trying to just push this last little bit of damage against Invoker. Lena, very, very dominant round one. Invoker better not tilt after this. Lena going for the exact same strategy again, getting punished by the Invoker. Not going to make the same mistakes twice. Invoker with a combo, taking out half of Lena's HP already. Getting those tornado meatball combos off is very powerful for Invoker. Lena is 1 or 2 big hits away from death. She has so much to do here. Invoker sees the punish and takes round 2 off of his dash.
Stand. Fight to the last breath.
Not getting the kill immediately there off of that first sidestep punish could have been bad. 1 round apiece, each of them have their ultimate ability. Neither of them want to be making mistakes. They both push so much damage. Invoker knocks Lena down to about half HP. Invoker is continuing to push through the damage. It's anyone's game at this point. Slightly favored in Invoker's favor as he's going for Cataclysm off the bat here. Is a single target Cataclysm enough? Lena has no HP left. She needs to get all her damage out right now. Invoker's backed up to the edge. Lena's playing the range game with the Dragon Slave. Her only hope is pushing damage right now. No one can be punished. It's going either way. Cataclysm comes out. When in doubt, you throw the Cataclysm. Invoker barely snatches the win there. And does it in style.
That wasn't as hard as I thought.
Invoker, making up for the loss of Rubik, will be going on to the conference quarterfinal. Or this, wait, no, this would be the conference semifinals, right? The conference semifinals. Which the conference finals are the tournament semifinals. But no, the quarter. Fuck, I'm so confused with the way I've done this. I hate my wording. It's labeled all wrong. We will see our next match between Morphling and Phantom Assassin. If we slide over a little bit there, we can see Morphling took down Bristleback and Abaddon throughout the course of this tournament. Abaddon also with a victory over Dragon Knight. So we did miss out the possibility of a anime rematch here between Dragon Knight and Invoker. But instead, we will get to see everyone's beloved character, Morphling, taking on Phantom Assassin. Phantom Assassin, very dominant in these one-on-ones. Managing to push so much more damage than Slark. The evasion and the coup de grace are just so strong in these one-on-one environments. But let's see how Morphling manages to go against Mordred.
The desire for power leads the warriors to the arid desert.
They will be fighting out here in the desert. This could be devastating for Morphling. There's no water in the desert.
You won't be disappointed.
Our third and final spellcaster in the tournament, Morphling. Let's see how well they get represented. Instant punish, though, by Phantom Assassin. This slippery evasion here. Blur, although Morphling's getting some damage to push in. Constant offense is how you get through evasion. Just attack more and you get more hits through. These stifling daggers keeping range. Phantom Assassin pushing tons of damage. Blink Strike not letting Morphling get anything, adding insult to injury, knocking him out of the arena. Round 1 to Phantom Assassin. Gotta close the gap there with a Blink Strike. Staying up close and defensive is Phantom Assassin's game plan against Morphling here. Although Morphling's going for a shapeshift himself. Adaptive Strike. Third of Phantom Assassin's HP gone. They're a bit on an even playing field here. Phantom Assassin, they're getting a clash out here as well. Who comes out on top here? Anyone can. Phantom Assassin counters out of the clash into a coup de grace. Is this going to be enough to finish off Morphling? No, but one or two more strikes in anyone's favor. A second coup de grace here. Blink Strike into nothing. Morphling's pushing damage with the waveform. Any one more hit, either of them are gonna die. Morphling takes round 2. Very close indeed. Now the pressure's getting onto Phantom Assassin. You know you can win a round, but now you know you can also lose a round. This is where the tilting begins. Morphling was already in this position where one loss changes the course. Last round, less pressure on him, more pressure on the Phantom Assassin. They're about even on HP. Morphling's down to a third now. Just a couple more pokes is all it takes, but these big damage swings by Morphling, they're anyone's game. One or two more big hits. Punish is the name of the game. Blink Strike. Morphling's one hit from death, and there we have it. Phantom Assassin moving on. Love to see the amount of blocks coming up in this competition by Phantom Assassin. The evasion is being very prominent, and that's what we're seeing a lot of people with success in this tournament using, making sure their defense is just as strong as their offense. As we continue to go to our conference semifinals, we zoom on over to the Nemesis Conference, where we have a battle I've been looking forward to. Bane has been so strong in this tournament. Both victories of his, impressive. But Elder Titan took down Tiny. And if that doesn't put him on the level to beat Bane, I don't know what will. Regardless, whoever comes out of this match on top may be a lock to win not just the division, but the tournament. Elder Titan versus Bane will begin. In the forest, a very neutral playing ground for both of these heroes.
Battle 1. Fight.
Elder Titan trying to get some aggression off early, but Bane blocks and is keeping momentum with his whip sword. Tries to break through the armor. Elder Titan needs to push more damage. There we go, a grapple. That's how you get through Bane's block. One massive axe swing. He's a third of Bane's HP. It was looking so much in Bane's favor, but Elder Titan hit so hard. Bane is dazed. He thought he had this in the bag. He's got to bring out his bag of tricks. Look at this nightmare go. Either one can take the round. One more hit on either of them. Bane barely escapes the round with that sidestep. Sidestepped the axe and countered it. Either of these competitors are strong. We're getting a nice damage buff. Spirit returns, natural order on Elder Titan. Bane is using these throws to waste that damage buff time. Elder Titan does not get anything off of it. Bane going for a massive Fiend's Grip. Elder Titan, 1 or 2 more hits from death. I don't think he can do it. Bane wins by breakdancing the whip. Hitting high, hitting low, that is the name of Bane's game. It is so difficult to dodge this sword. Bane dominated Elder Titan. That Fiend's Grips basically secured him the tournament match. Next up, we have Bane and Shadow Demon. Mars have beating Pango and Tidehunter in past rounds. We mentioned before, Mars coming off of an 8-second round win against Tidehunter, putting him in a good spot. And Shadow Demon had a pretty close match against Disruptor. Let's see how this goes. We are in a different arena than Mars has fought. Mars had the luck of fighting both Pangolier and Tidehunter in the Riverbed arena. Now they're up in the Bamboo Forest. A new place for Mars, but there is that ledge he's been playing around with. Let's see if we can get a Spear of Mars out of the arena again. Mars playing defensively, lining up before charging in with the sword. That's what makes Mars so strong here. Playing the range and gap close. Mars having amazing positioning there, taking Shadow Demon down to about a third HP. Mars falling down to his last bit of HP as Shadow Demon just keeps pushing damage, sidesteps the laser beam, throwing out his own little Spear of Mars there. Mars being defensive. Low shot there. Overheads. Shadow Demon's at no HP left. Mars blocking. This segment here, overhead. He blocks after seeing Shadow Demon return fire into the instant punish. Mars is very good at capitalizing off of these heroes. Shadow Demon ducks low this time, but the overheads come out by Mars. He's been so good at switching it up. Shadow Demon getting some momentum. Mars back into the wall. Not too many places for him to run. Although he's pushing damage, Shadow Demon is looking for his damage juice in like a third damage from that laser beam. Mars only needs 1 or 2 more hits to win. Shadow Demon needs this chip damage to win. Mars needs his momentum back. He waited out, but 1 hit left. He waited out the damage boost, but it wasn't enough. He missed an opportunity off of any of these swings. Final battle as the Bamboo Village goes tonight. This laser beam does so much damage that Mars failed. An arena of blood gets missed. Mars is getting absolutely damage shook here as Shadow Demon's putting out Demonic Purge. Mars has not done any damage and he's 1 hit away from death. Perfect round secures Shadow Demon the series. A perfect round secures Shadow Demon this series. Shadow Demon will move on to fight Bane in the next round, a battle of the purple supports. That should be an interesting one to watch. As we get into our next set of matches here. Night Stalker versus Marcy. Now, Night Stalker's been impressive in both rounds. The only one I have seen in this entire tournament to get a ring out over a barricade. Now, you can absolutely tell our competitors have been much better this round. All our strong competitors who are just focused on getting kills, as there has not been a single ring out in this entire phase of the tournament. We have Night Stalker take on Marcy. Let's see what map Night Stalker ends up on this time.
Warrior spirits are forged.
All right, we're in the Riverbed Arena, but it is, I think we're at sunset here. I don't believe Hunter in the Night is active in this round, so first round is leaning in Marcy's favor here. Marcy trying to capitalize off of the advantage, but big swings coming out from Night Stalker. Marcy trying to maintain control here with that high kick. Night Stalker just does so much damage into the second clash. Night Stalker comes out on top. Night Stalker still in control. Marcy almost dead here. Last hit for Marcy before she will die. She needs to maintain as much momentum as possible here. Night Stalker sees the opening and takes the round. Now, if you're Marcy, you're definitely worried after that loss. This is when you were supposed to be doing well. It's not nighttime yet. Staring each other down, Marcy gets a couple shots in there, going for an unleash to push as much damage as she can right now off of that Night Stalker's mistake. Gaining a little HP back. The momentum is in Night Stalker's favor. Both of them are trading hits and blocking. Night Stalker only needs 1 or 2 more hits in order to fall. Marcy's HP is low enough that it's not out of the possibility of a comeback. Huge overhead swing. Whoever wins this clash is going to take the round. Night Stalker overhead hit. Marcy has 1 HP left, stunning him off of the rebound. Does not capitalize on it. Night Stalker, there's no HP left. I had no idea who won for a second there. I thought Marcy had half an HP. Night Stalker gets dumped in the river. Marcy ties it up here, keeping the momentum. Night Stalker's got to be tilted after that close of a loss. He thought it was going to be over and in his favor, although those throws do so much damage. Marcy knocking Night Stalker with half HP, but a Dark Ascension by the Night Stalker is going to put Marcy in dangerous position here. Marcy with an overhead swing. Night Stalker pushing the damage. Marcy's got to block any of these punishings. Anyone's game here, though. Night Stalker, a Dark Ascension to secure the victory.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
Marcy fans can be upset in the comments as Night Stalker moves on. I think that means Invoker is the only anime character left in the tournament. I believe so. I believe so. We move on to the last match of the Nemesis Conference, the one we have been waiting and dreading at the same time. Dark Willow versus Snapfire. Why can't both of them win? Whoever wins here will go up against Night Stalker again, who's actually managed to beat 2 female competitors in a row. So we'll see if Girl Power can get some revenge in the conference semifinals. Snapfire and Dark Willow will commence. Why can't both of them win? That's what hurts so much about the tournament. There's only one who can take it all. Everyone's got to lose. Almost everyone's got to lose at some point. Snapfire coming into this match with a basket and a gun, keeping this momentum early, chunking damage on Dark Willow. Dark Willow using a bramble sword as her weapon, showing Snapfire that it's not only her who can dish out damage, but these damage boosts from Snapfire, pushing some Scatterblast damage. Dodges by Dark Willow. Dark Willow's just got to get some Shadow Realm damage out here. The bramble sword is taking so much damage on Snapfire. Anyone can lose at this point. Pushing damage by Snapfire, but gets punished here. Charges forward with the Fire Snap Cookie, misses a Scatter Blast, and gets countered by the Bramble Sword.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
Round being in favor of Dark Willow. Dark Willow looking to gain some aggression, possibly baiting out something by Snapfire, punishing with that Bramble Whip. Snapfire going down to a third, but trying to get some Scatter Blast damage in here. Insane damage coming out here by Snapfire, pushing the entire tide in her favor. Sidestep by Dark Willow. She has the mobility. She has the evasiveness with that Shadow Realm, though. Knocking Snapfire in the air, but whiffing the follow-through. Snapfire's on death's door here. One more swing, and she should be dead, but Dark Willow ain't anywhere closer. Dark Willow, very close both rounds, but Dark Willow manages to 2-0 Snapfire. We will see Dark Willow again shortly as she takes on Night Stalker. And we will visit our final conference here, where we get crowd favorites such as Meepo to kick off the Crownfall Conference. We are very close to seeing the dream matchup. We root for Meepo. Well, Meepo's been dominant, but if the finals of the conference can be Meepo versus Gyrocopter, now that would be something to see. But in order to get to that point, Meepo is going to have to take out Nyx first. But judging by the previous rounds, Nyx only barely making it to the quarterfinals here. And Meepo dominating both. This match is surely in favor of the Geomancer.
Now, the noble wolves carve their souls into their swords.
This'll be easy. Fine, I'll fight.
Battle one.
In the forest, good positioning for both of them. Nyx Assassin coming out there with first blood, first shot onto Meepo. Nyx has done this before against Skywrath Mage, kind of showing his entire toolkit within the first round and looking good in the first place, but Meepo is still putting up a fight. This is the explosivity that Nyx has thrived with in the past, and it's only equal footing for Meepo. Meepo's down to his last third. Nyx Assassin falling even lower. Meepo picks up the first round victory, absolutely putting it in his favor. These matches have always, these first opening rounds have always been in on Nyx's side. That's what's put him so far. And then Meepo just punishing Nyx again right here. Overhead swings. Nyx has not gotten any damage in whatsoever. He gets a little chip here, but Meepo's just pushing damage. One more hit and Nyx is gone. Divided we stand misses. And Meepo thrusting Nyx in the back for an easy 2-0.
For the fallen who fought so bravely.
More where that came from.
Meepo will move on as a fierce competitor in this tournament, despite his low seeding. Whoever wins this next matchup between Dawnbreaker and Death Prophet is going to have a lot on their plate as they have to fight Meepo in the next round. I'm not even sure which one of these two you prefer to be. I imagine Dawnbreaker may have the better matchup against Meepo, but regardless, each of these ladies is going to be up against a very, very dominant foe in the next round. Who's going to take their shot at dethroning Meepo? Let's find out.
In a cursed castle hall, warriors.
Oh, as we are fighting here in a temple.
Are you ready?
Temple map very notable for not having any potential ring outs.
Underestimate me.
Battle 1. Fight.
Death Prophet throwing out as much offense as she can early on, trying to put momentum in her favor, not letting Dawnbreaker get these luminosity strikes off. But once Dawnbreaker starts building that momentum, Death Prophet loses half of her HP, although it's getting even now. Dawnbreaker and Death Prophet with a clash, anyone's game. Death Prophet losing the momentum on Death's door. One more hit and secured by Dawnbreaker.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized. Battle 2. Fight.
Dawnbreaker off with an early aggression there too, punishing Death Prophet for going for the same thing twice in a row. Death Prophet getting these Crypt Swarm damage out here. It's about even on the HP, but with being up or around, this favors Dawnbreaker. Death Prophet pushing as much damage as possible, dashing forward, gets caught by a Solar Guardian as Dawnbreaker's just going to capitalize off of that, keeping the defense up as the Valkyrie tries to push this final bit of damage. Death Prophet trying to save herself in the tournament with an exorcism. Death Prophet barely survives. What the hell? I've never seen that. Death Prophet like used a bloodstone or something. That spell lifesteal. Dawnbreaker is furious after that round loss, and Death Prophet has secured the third round. Although, maybe you wish you didn't even get the third round when it's this much in Dawnbreaker's favor. Dawnbreaker getting punished. Death Prophet, can she pull off one of the best comebacks of the tournament? No. Despite that explosive victory in round 2, Death Prophet is going to fall to the dawn. The conference semifinals will have Meepo versus Dawnbreaker, what should be an exciting matchup. We can only hope for this next round. The last hope of the Slytherin, Slardar, is going to take on Razor. Razor having a relatively easy path to victory here in the first round, defeating Pugna, who decided that he didn't want to play in the tournament after signing up, and then defeating Terrorblade, who decided that he was only going to try to cheat and win instead of actually try. So Slardar, who's had to fight such competitors as Void Spirit and Beastmaster, earning his position here, unlike Razor, who fought a cheater and an AFK player. Let's see who comes out on top as we all root for Slardar, the last hope of the Slytherin.
A merchant ship replete with riches attracts more chaos than customers.
Fine, I'll fight.
Now it is raining here. I believe this is going to be a little boost for Slardar. Slardar trying to close the gap with the Guardian Sprint, manages to block Razor's Fury of the Whips, but he doesn't manage to capitalize off of that blocking. Razor punishing Slardar here with the static link, but once that Slytherin Crush comes out, Slardar starts pushing the damage. Look at this beefy strength hero go. That Corrosive Haze does so much. These bashes do so much. Razor falls with ease.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
Slardar almost getting a perfect parry on that plasma field. Razor's trying to push some damage here. A lot of damage. Slardar is down into the yellow. This could secure round 2 for Razor, but Slardar managed to block the entire plasma storm into a Corrosive Haze of his own. He needs to keep following up. Razor's got to go for a second Eye of the Storm here in order to secure the round, though. One round in Razor's favor.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
Come on, Slardar. Save the day for us. Slardar waiting to use that Guardian Sprint to close the gap. These big hits, he's got to connect with them. Slardar taking some chip damage from Razor, though. Going into a clash here, this could turn the momentum for either of them in Razor's favor. Slardar's down to his last little bit of HP. He's got to block and push all of the damage he can. He can't let Razor get any of this momentum. A huge Slytherin Crush trying to tie it up. One or two more big swings from either of them is enough to secure it. Razor gets the punish off, though, grappling Slardar for the victory. Those static link charges really hurt against a melee hero.
So bravely.
Really did it.
Now, what we've all been waiting for. Not the Razor advancing. The Battle of the Keen Folk. As Gyrocopter and Tinker will go at it once again. Both of these competitors having to step out of their comfort zone to try out new techniques. Tinker dual wielding, as we will have Gyrocopter using his propeller as a weapon. Let the battle commence.
The tragic fall of the cherry blossom.
We have our zesty Gyrocopter and Tinker battling out in the bamboo forest here. Tinker taking rounds off of Clinks and Doom. Gyro beating both Kunkka and Bloodseeker. Gyro with a fast punish onto Tinker there. Tinker sidestepping everything Gyro throws, but Gyro getting out of the sky for a call down. Zesty Hypers. Gyro fans in the chat rejoice as he's being so dominant in this first round. Tinker getting caught off guard by our Dr. Robotnik looking Gyro. The way he swings those hips, just hypnotizing Tinker. Gyro takes round 1. It's in favor of our zesty guy. Tinker not able to get any successful offense in here. Gyro keeps swinging that propeller. Tinker managing to get his offense up now as he's going to rearm into Gyrocopter with this March of the Machines, pushing tons of damage, knocking Gyro into the bottom third. This is where it takes only 1 or 2 more hits to push the rest of your HP. Gyro, 1 health left. He's come back from worse. Not this round, though. Tinker evens it out against the Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter fans on the edge of their seats. Gyro pushing this early damage with those giant propeller swings. He goes for a call down onto Tinker, connecting. Setting Tinker down so low, so early. Gyro has room to make mistakes. Tinker has no more room to make mistakes. 1 or 2 big hits from Gyro is all it's going to take to knock Tinker out of the tournament forever. Gyro can't get too complacent. He's only at half HP. But there we have it, a rocket barrage to take down Tinker. Can Gyro save us from Razor? We'll find out in the conference semifinals. And there you have it for this round. We will be going into the this is the quarter. I'm getting confused. Hold on. We're in the semis of the conferences. So we will have Anti-Mage and Necrophos, Juggernaut, Vengeful Spirit, Ogre Magi Earthshaker, Invoker Phantom Assassin, Bane and Shadow Demon, Night Stalker and Dark Willow, Meepo and Dawnbreaker, Razor and Gyro. We will take a quick 5-minute break here as we commence with the next round of the tournament. We are going till we finish it tonight. Who wants to continue the tournament? I do. Let's get into the semifinals of the conferences. Not that it has mattered much in our past round here, but over the course of the tournament, it has very much been a prominent feature. For the remaining rounds, we are implementing a no ring out ruling. The rest of these matches are only going to be decided by health loss. To make it further, you gotta earn it. You can't cheat your way to victory. As we get into this very one-sided semi-final match. Can Necrophos manage to beat the Anti-Mage? Can the Mage beat the Anti-Mage? The River Arena would normally be very prominent for a ring out, but that's not an option here. You gotta win. This is very much a range and a patience game. Necrophos is not going to let Anti-Mage close the gap and get these little chip shots in. That's how he's got to play it. Anti-Mage pushing all the damage that he can. Necrophos backing into the corner, getting juggled by Anti-Mage. That could have been a ring out there for Anti-Mage, but that rule is now off. You gotta knock them out. Anti-Mage and Necrophos battling on the cliff as Anti-Mage chips down Necrophos. It's unfair. AM will just counterspell. Necro's got to play around that. We've seen Sniper take down Spectre before, a traditional counter. In this form of combat, it doesn't mean everything, as Necrophos dodges the shots from Anti-Mage, but Anti-Mage just keeps managing to close the gap against Necrophos. But Necro has so much damage he can push out here. Reaper Scythe onto Anti-Mage, who misses the counter spell. Is it gonna finish him off? 1 HP left. You hate to see it from the Reaper Scythe. Mana Void comes out and connects too by Anti-Mage. This would be a humiliating loss for Necrophos, who still has such a high HP advantage. Anti-Mage has maybe a little more grace after that healing. There it goes, and there it doesn't matter. Necrophos has tied it up once again. This goes in anyone's favor. Necrophos playing defensively. Huge scythe swing there, knocking Anti-Mage down. This is the round where it matters the most. Once that pressure is on you, Anti-Mage is going for that damage boost, but he only pushes about half of Necro's HP. And with the damage boost, Necro's about a third there. 1 or 2 more big hits, big combo pieces out there by Anti-Mage, and Necro's out of it. Necro needs to push all the damage he can and not take anything. Huge scythe swing follow-up, punishing Anti-Mage's hubris.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
Anti-Mage thought he could dodge that scythe, and he didn't. Necro moves on. What an upset. Necrophos taking down Anti-Mage. As we go in to the next round, Vengeful Spirit, the one no one expected to make it this far in a conference of giants, barely qualified to even make this grouping, has taken down plenty of foes in her path. Lifestealer and Warlock and Sniper. Sniper came off of a 2 perfect round victory to lose to Vengeful Spirit. As we move into Juggernaut, who could be the strongest challenge yet after Jug dumpstered Rubik and took down the OTK. But when you come off a win against Sniper, your hopes have got to be high. You have great things to do in this tournament. Can you make it to the finals of the conference, Vengeful Spirit?
The cacophony of battle cuts through the deathly silence.
No one thinks you're a real carry. You're just a joke. Prove 'em wrong, Venge.
Fine, I'll fight.
If you remember the last match Juggernaut had, those Blade Dance crits managed to do so much, but Venge is getting some defense in early, only getting a little bit punished though by Juggernaut, who's playing a very good positioning game. Vengeful Spirit manages to dodge that Blade Fury crit, getting some pokes in with the sword. Currently in Venge's favor, Jug is at low health, no healing totem to save him this time. Venge just needs to push that last bit of damage, which she does. Juggernaut got a little too cocky. Jug getting a big overhead swing there at the beginning. Venge sidestepping Juggernaut, closing the gap, maintaining her control. I think if we gotta give credit, Venge has been positioning so well with these sidesteps and dodges. Going for another swap of her own, but it misses. Flying kick there to Juggernaut. Juggernaut going for an Omni Slash here to try to tie things up in the HP difference. It's not gonna kill Venge, but it's gonna be enough to put her next to death. 1 or 2 more big hits from either of these competitors could send the edge. A second Omni Slash should secure it for Juggernaut.
I won't die.
As we go into the third round, neither of these competitors want to lose. They each need to prove their worth. Juggernaut with a counter right off the bat. Venge taking to the skies, has 2 super meters up on Juggernaut to her advantage, but she's not pushing damage. Juggernaut is staying in her face with the Blade Fury. He needs to keep this momentum up. Venge is looking for another swap of her own to push this magic missile damage. Jug's down about half HP, but Venge is at third, still has a super meter up on Jug, who's down into the no-go zone. 1 more big hit from either of them. Jug's 1 hit away from death, and Venge manages to secure that last point of damage.
You fought so bravely.
Vengeful Spirit will move on to take on Necrophos in the finals of the Aghanim Conference. What a journey for Venge. Taking down Sniper and Juggernaut. Very proud of you, Venge. Very proud. Now, everyone get your barbecue sauce ready, because there's gonna be some meat. We're gonna get a big beefy Earthshaker taking on a big beefy Ogre Magi. Both of these competitors have managed to perfectly utilize their massive size and damage. Now, this will be the first time Ogre has to go up against an opponent who doesn't have the range disadvantage. Earthshaker has been strong in this tournament too, but this is anyone's game.
The memories of ancient battles slumber eternally.
We will battle. I don't think we've had a single match here.
Fear in your eyes.
Earthshaker will be using his long ass club, and we got the whacking stick from Ogre Magi. I believe Ogre may have a little bit more range than Earthshaker, but when both of them basically cover the screen, Ogre's already at half HP after 2 hits. Ogre pushes so much damage, and so does Earthshaker. It only takes a couple hits to really even things out. One more hit though, and I bet Ogre's dead. Here's the clash, Ogre's last chance to come in, evening things out. Basically, Earthshaker's on death's door. He manages to get like a Echo Slam KO. It's like an Echo Slam KO for that 1 extra burst damage. Ogre Magi tries to push a damage boost here. An unrefined Fire Blast though coming out. A third of Earthshaker's HP already gone in this round, but Ogre's just trying to catch up in victories. This is when Earthshaker can afford to make mistakes. He's got no HP, but he does have that enchant totem damage boost up. Ogre's near the edge. He could have been knocked off there in a previous round, tying things up though. Ogre secures round 2 in his way with that unrefined Fire Blast damage. These rounds are so quick with all the damage coming out. Earthshaker trying to push a little bit of damage here into Ogre. These are these chip damage through the blocks is doing a little bit. Ogre Magi maintaining control. Earthshaker and Ogre even on HP, even on momentum for the most part. Earthshaker, this is anyone's game. They're even up again. Both of them trying to get these big swings in. Earthshaker 1 hit from death, and Ogre wins through the clash.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
Ogre proving time and time again that the multicast luck is on his side. You don't need to land all your hits. It only takes a couple. When you do that much damage, you only need a couple to go through. Despite that round 1 loss, Ogre moves up to the finals of the conference and will take on either Invoker or Phantom Assassin. If Invoker manages to win, we will have the smartest Int hero versus the dumbest Int hero. And if Phantom Assassin wins, well, it's going to be even harder for Ogre Magi to land these hits against the most evasive hero in the tournament. Let the semifinals commence.
The cacophony of battle cuts through the deathly silence in an invitation to madness.
Let's get this fight started.
Fine, I'll fight.
Fighting in the dark woods may be a little bit of an advantage to Phantom Assassin. Invoker pushing out this damage. Phantom Assassin did just come off a victory over a spellcaster in Morphling in the last round, so this could be favored for her, although she's not dodging Invoker's strikes as much as she dodged Morphling's. Invoker playing an impressive defense game as well. Phantom Assassin trying to close the gap here, has a little bit of HP left, can't let Invoker get anything off on her. She's trying her best to tie it up, but Invoker pushes damage.
Stand. Fight to your last breath.
Invoker being the last real spellcaster in the tournament here. Phantom Assassin going in with a blink strike to push as much damage quickly. A wonderful dodge and reversal by Phantom Assassin, keeping momentum in her favor against the Invoker. Invoker trying whatever spells he can, but I assume all his good ones are on cooldown. Phantom Assassin at about half HP, taking out Invoker in round 2.
Victory will not come.
Tying things up This is where Invoker pulled out 2 Cataclysms in the last round. Can PA survive a double Cataclysm? He's holding on to 2 supers. This could be his strategy for both rounds. PA is in death range to a double Cataclysm already. Phantom Assassin's got to push damage. We don't know if she knows the Invoker strategy yet. Almost down to a 3rd HP. We get a coup de grace coming out here, pushing as much damage as possible as Invoker goes for a Sunstrike of his own, managing to knock PA out with that momentum swing.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
That was tough.
Invoker will move on as the 2 intelligence heroes will fight in the finals of the Dire Tide Conference. First in Joker steals the Dota anime, now he will steal the tournament. There's a lot of strong competition in here. I don't know how Invoker will stack up against Ogre Magi. Bane will take on the most dominant competitor he's taken on yet with Shadow Demon. Bane has been so strong through this tournament. But if anyone's going to take on Bane, I imagine the dispersion illusions of Shadow Demon can assist against that nightmare. As we have like the 2 purple entities battling it out in the Nemesis Conference.
Warrior spirits are forged below the never-ending sky.
The Riverbed Arena doesn't particularly matter as much with no ring outs, but it's still a wonderful sight to see.
Battle 1. Fight.
Bane using that massive range to his advantage, but the shadow poison damage comes out from Shadow Demon. Huge damage just off of one move there by Bane. Managing to get a stun off on Shadow Demon, the enfeeble by Bane, really neutering his opponents. Although Shadow Demon has knocked Bane into the low HP threshold, round 1 goes the way of Shadow Demon. We thought Storm could do it after he took 1 round. Bane's got to make a 2-0 comeback to even try to stand a chance against Shadow Demon. The massive Fiend's Grip comes out from Bane. Off the bat, Shadow Demon's not looking in a great spot as Bane begins to parry the moves, rubbing his feet in the face of Shadow Demon, you freaks. Keeping the space game on his side. Shadow Demon going through whirlwinds to try to push as much damage on Bane and recover this round in his favor. Shadow Demon's got no HP left. He's going for a damage push. He's got to connect, but this damage boost steroid could be enough to push him out of the round. Bane has tied things up. Very miss there on that damage boost. If he got a couple more hits in, he could have just secured it for himself. But in a 1-1 game, that stunning whip strike, Bane has so much control here against Shadow Demon. Oh my, this is the Bane we've been seeing. Shadow Demon doesn't even get a chance to close the gap before being sent to a 3rd HP. Clashing though, Bane with like a back kick managing to get around Shadow Demon. One more hit and Shadow Demon's done. He's gotta go for this demonic purge like twice in order to even try to catch up in damage against Bane. Shadow Demon not letting Bane catch his breath for a second. He's going for the second demonic purge. Shadow Demon has got the eggs Does not secure him the victory quite yet, but he capitalizes off of it. What a combo by Shadow Demon to take out Bane. I thought Bane was going to the finals. Now that I'm seeing Shadow Demon play like that, I'd be worried for anyone going against him. Shadow Demon moves on after an incredible demonic purge shadow poison combo. Next off, the hopes and dreams of Willow Nation ride on this one as Night Stalker has beaten Muerta and Marcy. No woman's been able to take down Night Stalker yet. I mean, no person in the tournament has taken down Night Stalker yet, but he's beaten 2 women already in the tournament. This is Willow's chance to prove victory after a pretty strong showing against Snapfire. One of the favorites, one of the fan favorites, has got the biggest obstacle in her way yet. And you gotta fight him at night. That Hunter in the Night buff is active. Willow needs to play around Void and Shadow Realm here. Early poke by Dark Willow. Night Stalker being playing a bit more defensively, trying to get these big sword swings that were just out of range of Dark Willow though. Like a gunshot miss by Night Stalker as Willow's using the Bramble Sword range to her advantage, but as soon as Night Stalker closes the gap, he pushes tons and tons of damage against Dark Willow. These big overhead swings evening things out for Night Stalker. Dark Willow's 1 or 2 more hits away from death. Same with Night Stalker. Night Stalker looking for the punish but misses. Dark Willow trying to get a punish, but they're both playing really defensively at this point. Hitting low there, managing to go underneath the Night Stalker blocks. Round 1 in the favor of Dark Willow. Dark Willow playing her own little dance around Night Stalker, but Night Stalker here is closing the gap, getting on top of Willow for this massive Hunter in the Night damage. Willow trying to get some momentum in her favor, throwing out a lot of these bramble shots, but nothing particularly connecting. "30 seconds left on the timer. Not too much damage has come out from either of them. Night Stalker almost down to about a 1/3 HP. Going for a Dark Ascension in a last hope effort to even out the playing field. Basically evens it out perfectly there as they're both playing a game of blocks here. This could be our first game to go to the timer. Night Stalker's trying to push damage through Shadow Realm here. With 8 seconds left on the clock, Night Stalker manages to push through. We could have had Mars versus Tidehunter 6 times in that. Dark Willow taking some damage now, but it seems like that Hunter in the Night debuff is going away as it becomes daytime. It could just be enough though. Dark Willow's getting down to low HP. Night Stalker's still closing the gap. The space game has to go back in Dark Willow's favor. Managing to dodge around. Night Stalker's down to the bottom third. Damage is coming out. 1 more big hit and she's got it. 1 more hit and she's got it. Night Stalker pushing damage. 1 more big hit and he's got it. But as he tries to close the gap, that Bramble poke damage takes him out. Willow conquers the Night Stalker and will face Shadow Demon in the next round. we're going to everyone's favorite, the Crownfall Conference, where we have two massive battles for you. Meepo and Dawnbreaker. Before we get Razor and Gyro. Meepo and Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker's biggest challenge yet, Meepo has been dominant throughout the entire tournament. We'll have to see if Dawnbreaker can and manage to stop this monster of a fighter. We're in Night Holy Temple. Dawnbreaker can have a home field advantage here. Dawnbreaker getting some early aggression off on Meepo, managing to escape his grapple attempt there and push damage through with that Starbreaker. It does get blocked though, so not all the damage gets through. Meepo's down to about a third left. Any more big hits from Dawnbreaker and it's done for the Geomancer. Impressive round one by Dawnbreaker. We've been hyping Meepo up and he just gets dumpstered like that. If she does it again, Dawn could be the favorite to take the tournament now. Pushing more damage through. Meepo's got to learn from his mistakes. He's trying to block, but there's so many overheads from Dawn. Getting past the tiny Geomancer's shield. He does get a neck break there. Dirt between his toes. Meepo's trying to recover some sort of momentum. He is using grappling to his advantage here, almost tying things up. Can he get this divided we stand off on Dawnbreaker? He is going to Grapple City here. Meepo pushing damage through. Dawn's one hit from death that Meepo connects.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
Tying it up. Meepo missing that first strike there. He needs to get some poof damage in here at all. Dawnbreaker does have two supers up on Meepo. There's one. Dawn, massive luminosity hit, knocking Meepo down to the bottom third. One or two more big hits and Meepo's got it. He's going back to Grapple City, trying to do as much damage as he can through the blocks of Dawnbreaker. He's got a strategy, and it worked for him last time. These low sweeping pokes, it's anyone's game here. Dawnbreaker gets blocked. Meepo's knocked to the ground. Meepo gets sidestepped, but Dawn doesn't capitalize. Meepo gets overheaded after a really close back and forth. Both of them going off of these guard impact strategies. And Dawn has come out on top, squashing that damn rat Meepo. Dawnbreaker will advance to the finals of the Crownfall Conference as the crowd will root and root as the favorite Gyrocopter takes on Razor. Damn you, Razor. Damn you, Razor. You know what's not exciting to watch? Static Link in a one-on-one. Not fun at all. Can Gyro manage to compete with Razor? Let's find out.
A merchant ship replete with riches attracts more chaos than customers.
I can't run away. I accept this challenge.
Gyro's come so far. Razor's had a relatively easy path, only having to take down Slarda, but Razor just fought here in the last match. Gyro's having so much trouble closing the gap against Razor. He hasn't hit a single thing on Razor. He's getting some momentum back, but he's almost dead here. Any more hits from Razor could just be enough to end it for Gyro. Round 1 in Razor's favor.
Stand. Fight to your last breath. Battle 2. Fight.
Razor very much playing the range game. Gyro's got to close the gap and push damage like he did last time. He's just got to do it sooner. Now it seems like Gyro's picking up the pace here. They're only on an even footing though. Gyro has one super up though. Razor keeps getting these pokes off. Gyro unable to get that last bit of damage he needs to push through. They're both at a 3rd HP. Gyro the big clash. This is anyone's game. Gyro jumping backwards, dodging the whips. Anyone can take it here. Gyro is not evening it up here. Razor wins with like 0 HP.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
Razor had 0 HP. Gyro threw. Razor cheated. He had 0 HP. There was not a pixel of red on that HP bar. Razor eliminates Gyro. As we zoom out to see the current state of the tournament, we've come so far and we are down to our final 8 competitors. Necrophos, Vengeful Spirit, Ogre Magi, Invoker, Shadow Demon, Dark Willow, Dawnbreaker, and Razor. This is the quarterfinals of the whole tournament and the finals of each conference. Let's go to the first round and see who becomes the champion of the Aghanims Conference. Is it Necrophos or Vengeful Spirit? Necrophos, not to discredit his victories so far, but Vengeful Spirit has had such a tough road to victory that even victories over Anti-Mage and Legion Commander don't seem as impressive as taking out Sniper and Juggernaut. As we get into our first conference finals.
Now, the noble wolves carve their souls into their swords.
You dare challenge me?
Battle 1. Fight!
Necro off to the early lead, but getting highs and lows from Vengeful Spirit. Venge is doing a great job pushing damage onto this Necrophos. Every single hit that Venge gets is impactful. Good blocking, but they're both at about a 3rd HP. This is anyone's game with the amount of damage they're able to push through. Venge, beautiful overhead combination for the victory.
Goes to the last one standing.
A lot of these competitors are getting punished by the way Vengeful Spirit predicts these blocks. Overheads and lows, very difficult for players to get against. Necrophos going for a damage boost. Venge has just got to play defensively throughout this. Venge losing about a 3rd HP to that damage boost of Necrophos. 1 round up on Venge and they're about even right now. You like to see that in Venge's position. having Necro expend resources like a damage boost and not particularly get an advantage. He's going for his last damage boost. Venge pushes insane damage and goes for a swap. Her own damage boost to try to push this last little bit of damage. One more hit out from either of them could be enough to secure this round. Can Venge secure the finals? Vengeful Spirit has guaranteed a top 4 placement in the tournament. What an impressive showing. You knew she was a threat when she took down Sniper. Undeniable after she beat Juggernaut. And now that she's taken down Necrophos, I don't know if Venge can lose at this point. That's very difficult to... That's a very tricky thing to say. But Venge winning the Aghanims conference from one of the bottom seeds. We have now Invoker and Ogre Magi. 2 Int heroes going at it. The smartest Int hero and the dumbest Int hero. The core that can sometimes support and the support that can sometimes core. Although, depending on who's playing the Ogre, sometimes they're just a core wearing the facade of a support. As we see if Invoker can take down the dominant performance of the Ogre Magi, or Ogre can just luck his way to the finals. Or luck his way to winning the conference, I mean.
Into their swords.
I can't run away.
Invoker and Ogre at a bit of an even playing field here. We're getting the same map again here in the forest. Ogre throwing out as much damage as possible early. We see this strategy, constant offense when you hit big. Although Invoker showing out how big he hits on Ogre. Ogre's got a lot of strength, but he doesn't have the defensive armor here. But he's just pushing damage, punishing Invoker in the corner. Dominance there, trapping Invoker in the corner. Ogre shows his strength and just wins one round off of that. This is where Invoker can choke, but he was in the same situation against Lena. He's holding on to his resources, but Ogre, he doesn't have time against Ogre to hold on to these resources. He's taking like a quarter HP off of a single blow. Holy shit, Ogre.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
Invoker didn't even get a chance to breathe as Ogre just kept throwing out damage. Ogre takes the Dire Tide conference for himself. It's the scary heads. That's just his heads. Why do you gotta be mean about it? Ogre takes the Dire Tide conference for himself. But before we get there, we must see who their opponents are, as Shadow Demon will take on Dark Willow. And Dawnbreaker will take on Razor. The winner of this will go on to fight Vengeful Spirit in the tournament semifinals. Shadow Demon has had a low-key impressive performance. He didn't make a spark in his first couple rounds, but after his past two, when we expected him to lose, he's pulled it out, even tackling Bane, who I've been singing the praises of constantly. Now, this isn't to discredit Dark Willow either. Dark Willow's put up a fight of her own and has proved that she earned her spot here. But between these two, I'd be shocked if Dark Willow can win. Let's see if she can prove me wrong.
Warriors cross swords beneath the gaze of the ancient gods.
You think you can beat me?
Dark Willow with her Brambles sword. We're out here in the Holy Temple against Shadow Demon. This could be a negative side effect for him. In a place of holiness, a demon ain't welcome, but he's pushing that damage through to Dark Willow. Positioning does not matter as much here. No ring outs. Shadow Demon destroying Dark Willow early on. I don't know if Willow can come back from this. Here's Willow attempting to come back from this, pushing tons and tons of damage through.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
1-0 to Shadow Demon. Dark Willow has to not let Shadow Demon get off to such a strong start here, but there's so many tools in Shadow Demon's playbook here. She needs to play with the range, dodging these ground spikes into a Terrorize, though. Getting that Terrorized Bedlam damage, knocking Shadow Fiend into the ground. This round is in Dark Willow's favor. She only needs a couple more good hits to take him down. She's trying for another Bedlam. Secures the victory, but goes into the third round with one less super meter off of that. Very risky play. She secured this round, but it may have cost her the next. Going in, but it's better to get that round 3 than to not have it at all in Dark Willow's playbook. Shadow Demon, though, managing to unleash his own demonic purge here right off the bat, showing why the super meter balance matters. Dark Willow has not gotten any damage yet and is less than half of her health. No super remaining. Shadow Demon only needs to hit one more in order to secure it for him. Dark Willow's pushing damage through, getting Shadow Realm with Bramble damage. Dark Willow manages, despite that demonic purge off the start, Dark Willow dethrones Shadow Demon and wins the Nemesis Conference Finals, and will go on to fight Vengeful Spirit in the semis. And this is where we're just gonna make that big. We'll make that face big. And for the next one, Dawnbreaker and Razor. Dawnbreaker taking out Meepo. She is also, she could be a solid pick to win the rest of the tournament. And when you're up against a cheater like Razor, sometimes if you just hit hard enough, it don't matter how you are. Razor coming off an AFK Pugna and then cheated to beat Gyrocopter. He had 0 HP left and he continued fighting past the bell for the knockout. What a cheater. Dawnbreaker, can you be our savior as we step into the 7 circles of hell where Razor belongs?
Chaos erupts.
Are you ready? Fine, I'll fight.
Battle 1.
As the first battle commences, Dawnbreaker running straight up to Razor with these overhead strikes, not letting Razor play the range game. Excellent punish. Dawnbreaker comes in with the fury of 1,000 gyro scorn to push against Razor. Already down to a third HP or less. Razor's 1 or 2 more big hits from loss, but he's pushing as much damage as he can against Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker barely just needs a little bit more poke to secure the victory. Razor's pushing as much damage as he can with that little HP, but one last strike takes Razor out. 1-0 Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker waiting for Razor to make a mistake so she can punish. We get these Starbreaker shots here instantly, keeping Razor down to no HP. Razor may have 2 super meters, but Dawn's already up the round, almost a perfect round, and Dawn has dumpstered Razor, marking her spot as the winner of the Crown Fall Conference. And will go up against Ogre Magi in the next round. There you have it, our final 4 competitors. I have a feeling I'm going to be wrong when I say this, but I'm going to like quickly double check to see that we actually do have like a really fun fact here. Just need to like check real quick. I believe that our final 4 heroes actually represent all 4 attributes. Unless they've changed it. Dark Willow's universal, Dawnbreaker's strength, Ogre's intelligence, and Venge is agility. Our final 4 competitors, and we have 1 from each. Let's get to the semifinals then. As Vengeful Spirit will take on Dark Willow. Dark Willow has taken on some very strong competitors, but so has Vengeful Spirit. The biggest difference between the two is that I don't think Vengeful Spirit has fought anyone with the area control that Dark Willow has. But also, Willow hasn't fought an underdog like Vengeful Spirit yet. This is anybody's match. Dark Willow versus Vengeful Spirit. Who makes it to the finals?
You dare challenge me?
Both of these are flexible support cores, which has been a successful archetype throughout the tournament. Venge pushing some damage through, at least attempting to, dodging some of these long-range brambles, but a lethal stun right onto Venge, losing so much momentum for her, giving Dark Willow the advantage. This round looks like a lock for Venge. Dark Willow's got to close the gap and not let anything happen. Dark Willow takes the round.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized.
1-0 Dark Willow's favor. She can just maintain her momentum. Venge is trying to sidestep whatever Willow is doing, pushing damage herself with a nice damage buff. Dark Willow, though, with that Bramble Maze damage, just knocking Venge around. that area control from Dark Willow.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
Dark Willow victorious and the first in the finals. Dark Willow will be the first in the finals. Who will she take on? Dawnbreaker or Ogre Magi? We've seen Ogre be dominant here with his sheer dumb luck, but doesn't it have to run out eventually? Dawnbreaker has taken down Meepo and Dumpstered Razor. So we can hope for a cool, calm, and collected approach by Dawnbreaker without having to resort to the panicky situations that Invoker had to deal with against Ogre Magi. Who will take on Dark Willow in the finals?
Blood, flesh, and souls are offered to the gods amidst deathly chants.
Are you ready?
Battle 1. Fight!
Ogre pushing this early damage that he likes to do. Dawnbreaker not used to fighting someone with this much range though. Dawnbreaker already getting down to the bottom as she pushes damage through Ogre's defenses. Ogre's strength is very low on his defense and just all offense. You got to capitalize on these moves, but that disastrous side swing there has taken out so many people. Just that backhand swing from Ogre gives him one up on Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker pushing damage into Ogre. You can't let Ogre get any momentum because once these hits start coming, your HP goes by twice as fast as you expected. Dawnbreaker puts Ogre near the bottom of his HP. They're both one or two more hits from death. Trying to guard break there, but Ogre clashes through Dawnbreaker and secures his spot in the finals. Ogre Magi is one victory away from being the greatest Dota 2 hero ever, and Midas gamers are going rabid. Before we go to the finals, we have one more match. This is where you can decide if you are Team Dark Willow or Team Ogre. Oops. But we will have our third place match. No matter which of these competitors wins, both of them are still champions of their division and go home as champions in their own right. But this is where we find out the champion of champions. And if you want that bronze medal or not even on the podium at all. Our third place matchup between Dawnbreaker and Vengeful Spirit begins.
Warrior spirits are forged below the never-ending skies.
Are you ready?
You dare challenge me?
Battle 1. Fight!
Venge trying to get some early offense in their Dawnbreaker, instantly having to go into this match after a previous loss against Ogre Magi, putting her at a little bit of a disadvantage. both of these competitors going back and forth on the damage. They're pretty even right now. Venge is using these combos, strings, to push damage, while we're getting some big strikes by the Dawnbreaker. Looking for one more Starbreaker guard break, but it doesn't secure the round for Venge.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized.
Dawnbreaker one up on that third place finish now. Although we get an instant nether swap out here by Vengeful Spirit. Going a bit more defensive, but gets spotted by the Dawnbreaker, going for that grab, and now Dawnbreaker just needs to push and push through the defensive stance of Vengeful Spirit. Although the damage has evened out here, a Starbreaker damage coming out, massive overhead swing, one more Starbreaker, and Venge is done. She's got to take all the momentum for herself, but these blocks coming from Dawnbreaker, anyone's round. One throw from Venge, and Dawnbreaker through the round.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
Final battle. Fight.
The final round here. Dawnbreaker starting off with a big hit to put momentum on her side. Venge getting a little chip in here, being very defensive here though, trying to combo into a nether swap, pushing damage and trying to reset this back in her favor. Sidesteps by Dawnbreaker, not letting Venge get any of these combo hits off. She breaks the guard. Dawnbreaker's one or two more hits from death. Venge still above her last bit of HP and secures herself the third place finish in the tournament.
Who fought so bravely.
Wallow in your weakness.
That will secure herself the third place finish in the tournament. And now, what we've been waiting for, the finale, the culmination of 3 streams and countless hours of behind the scenes character creation work. I'm not letting this one go out easy. We will have Dark Willow versus Ogre Magi. But we need to determine a proper winner. And I don't think a best of 3 is the best way to determine the greatest Dota hero in the world. Instead, we will have Dark Willow and Ogre Magi battle each other in a best of 7. Four rounds required to win. This is it. Who takes the tournament home? The fan favorite Dark Willow or the dominant two-headed monster that is Ogre Magi? The powerhouse of Ogre needs 4 wins here. Ogre Magi taking some early hits there from Dark Willow. She's using her range to her advantage. This is not good for Ogre at this point. He likes to keep the momentum, but Dark Willow is making sure he plays at her pace. That Bramble Sword does work, but Dark Willow takes so much damage as soon as Ogre is able to get any momentum on his side. A clash coming out. This could be it for Ogre, with that side swing there knocking Dark Willow to the ground. She throws out a Bedlam to secure the round. first round win goes to Dark Willow. We've seen it in the past, Dark Willow using these supers to guarantee the last fraction of damage. They're a little overkill, and in a game that has this much staying power, that stamina, that super meter is going to play a much bigger part, but maybe she's in a use it or lose it. It doesn't matter if you win in by a little bit or win by a lot. A win's a win, and using super to secure it's good enough for her, but Ogre is raging through a damage boost off of his part, putting Willow down near the bottom third. Maybe 1 or 2 more hits and Ogre can just secure this round. Willow's bringing Ogre down. She's controlling him with the Shadow Realm positioning. Another Bedlam trying to secure the last bit of damage she needs. Sorry, that was a Shadow Realm to secure the last bit of damage she needs. We are up 2 rounds in Willow's favor. Ogre is learning what a real hero fights like. Massive damage instantly coming out from Dark Willow as that overhead swing comes out. Cursed Crown damage sapping Ogre. Willow is maintaining dominance. Ogre has not looked this weak throughout the entire tournament. Willow secures round 3. Are we getting a perfect 4-0? Ogre was so strong throughout the tournament, and he's choking in the finals. I haven't seen one this bad since LGD. But here comes that unrefined Fire Blast. Ogre's ready to push damage. Massive damage coming out. He's got to close the gap. Use this free damage buff to shut Willow down and start getting some rounds under his name. Every round matters for Ogre Magi. One more loss and it's it. He needs one more good swing to take out Willow, and the Bedlam coming out to get last bit of damage. And Willow secures it in 4.
The battle is over. Show respect for the
Dark, a dominant monster like Ogre just got dumpstered in the finals. This really was an LGD moment. My God, I was not expecting it to be over that quickly. But there you have it. Dark Willow is going to win DOTA CALIBUR and is now officially the greatest Dota hero ever. It's official. Proven by science and a well-earned victory. Thanks everyone for coming out. I will try to keep a big edited video of this for YouTube at some point. The VODs will be up on our Day 1 and 2 VODs are up on YouTube. Day 3 VOD will be up on YouTube soon enough. But yeah, I'm gonna try to edit this into one big video when I can. Got to figure out like my fun little title and whatnot. But until then, we will peace out. I have a lot more fun things I'm doing on stream, getting into a little more variety and not just streaming all ability draft. But legitimately, I may start streaming again within like an hour to play ability draft. We'll see. But I have several Nintendo Switch games I only have for about a week that I have to beat and then return to the library. So let's see if I can beat Sonic X Shadow, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and Pokemon Snap in like one stream each or something. Anyway, peace out until next